Okay, welcome to another edition of Hitting Buckets, a golf podcast that's trying to give you some good picks and review some of the biggest tournaments of the year. I'm your co-host Scott Mater, and with me as always, Ryan Marchand. How are you doing, Ryan?
Doing good, Scott.
So, Masters just ended. First off, congratulations to Hideki Matsuyama, the Masters 2021 winner. Big win for him, big win for Japan. Brian, thoughts on the Masters?
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's come and gone already. It always delivers though. It's always enjoyable. It was a good tournament. We saw Justin Rose come out early and really come off to a big lead, but he just couldn't tack onto it as the weekend went along. Zalatoris was fun to watch. We mentioned all those young guys last week, and his name always gets left off that list. The funny thing is, yeah, even though he's a rookie, he's actually older than all those guys. So I didn't really see him competing like this in his first crack at Augusta. But he did well. I saw a funny tweet. It was late Sunday as he was at, I think he was maybe one stroke back, and someone had tweeted that the team at Augusta was scrambling to try to find a green jacket that would fit him. So that was kind of funny. He had a good run at it, but I guess the real story, like you said, was Hideki. It's a big win for him. I guess he's been knocking at the door for years at a major, mainly at the Masters. But it never really clicked for him. I think the biggest story was the weather delay that we ran into on Saturday. You look at a guy like JT who was just coming in hot. And then after the delay, he just kind of died off and gave away the tournament or any chance he had, really. Well, I don't know. Apparently Hideki was out in his car and maybe scrolling through Pornhub or something for an hour, but came out guns blazing after that. And I was hoping for a shitty putter that usually sneaks up on him on Sunday because I had Xander and Spieth chasing, but he pulled through, and I think Xander dug too big of a hole in the front nine. He went on that real nice run on the back. He had 4 birdies in a row. I had it all geared up. I was planning my victory speech, and I had X gonna give it to you as a tribute song for the pod in the background, but it didn't come through. So it was good though. I think the coolest thing was when the scene at the end when his caddy kind of went in and he put the pin back in 18 and he took his hat off and bowed to Augusta. I thought that was really cool. That'll probably be one of the most memorable things from the whole tournament.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. As I get older, I don't want guys to ever choke a title away, but I really wanted it to be close. So I was really disappointed Xander didn't put that in close 16. Maybe make Hideki show one more great shot there, put a little interest in it. So Xander let me down a bit there by not putting the pressure on Hideki. But I think you hit the nail on the head. This tournament was won on Saturday after the rain delay. When Hideki came out, he was on fire, got that lead. And it felt like the fourth round was almost like a team with a huge lead in the fourth quarter. They were just protecting the lead the whole time. So Hideki won it in the third round. He deserved to win. He played lights out. Xander, too many mistakes, but he was right there. But all in all, it's the Masters. Always enjoyable. Wasn't 2019 for enjoyment levels, but still, Hideki, well-deserved title. Congrats to him. So with that being said, Ryan, why don't you take me through how you did on your picks from last week in the Masters?
Yeah, it was an all right week, I think, overall. The first category we broke into was the best play in the 1 to 20 range. So I took Jordan there. He finished best as the best player out of that range. So that's a win, I think. Xander top 5 hit for me. I was invested in him as an outright, so it was a tough one to watch, but hit that. And then Bobby Mack came back to tie Brian Harman. I thought we had the best lefty locked up, but Bobby Mack came back too in his debut. So that was a good finish for him. My one and done with Spieth. So T3 was a nice chunk of change, so I'm happy with that. But my guy Matthew Wolf, he hurt me. He hurt me again. This might be rock bottom for him now. He's played bad, and on top of how bad he played, he entered the wrong score on his scorecard, so I ended up getting DQ'd anyway. So I think his start to the season now has a DQ, withdraw, and then the rest is miscuts. So, well, the good news is I'm going to get a big number on him next tournament, though. So, all in all, I think it's a decent week one for us. For me, anyway. Unlike you, who tried to sync the podcast right off the jump here. How'd you do?
Well, we're going to go through my picks quickly. We're in the early stages of the podcast, so the graphics are no budget for the graphics, but I'm going to throw up a little recap. And
oh, wow.
Bottom line is we highlight one victory. I hope you guys can read this, but we're going to move on quickly. I did nail the Will Zalatoris top debutant, so I can say I nailed that. I had Phil Top Senior, but I parlayed that with DJ, so really cashed in one of my bets from the podcast. But let's not focus on last week and a losing week. I'm going to use this chance to transition into the new week. Let's talk about the RBC Heritage in South Carolina. It's a week after the Masters, but about half the Masters field has decided to play this tournament. So we're looking at a pretty good field here in South Carolina. The two heavy favorites heading in are DJ at 12-1, Webb Simpson 13-1. I would advise against DJ this week. Who knows where his head's at? And the fact of the matter is, DJ's worst performances at a course he's played 4 or more times is this course. DJ does not play well here. Stay away. Odds not good. No DJ. As for Webb, he's the defending champ. So yeah, maybe Webb, but at 13-1, there's not a chance I'm playing Webb Simpson at 13-1. There's got to be at least a 3 in front of that number for me even to contemplate Webb Simpson. But, maybe you put him in your fantasy lineup, maybe a top 10. Webb does play well here, but not for me. That being said, I'll go into my first pick, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but my first
Don't
pick,
do it.
Yeah, is Patrick Cantlay, 17-1. I know he hurt my feelings last week. We did some counseling this week, talked it out, and you know what? We decided to give it one more shot. So I feel like I was onto something with him. I'm just hoping I was a week too early. I went and looked at his record here. Last 3 times he's played, it's been 3rd, 7th, and 3rd. I feel like his game was ready to win. I just feel like I was a week too early. I happened to play Hideki in Texas, and then I was just way off him because he didn't play well. I don't want to make that mistake twice. So Patrick and I are giving it a go one more time at least. My first pick is Patrick Cantlay, 17-1.
Okay.
I know.
Last week after you picked Cantlay, I said the only thing more uninteresting than your Cantlay feedback there was Cantlay himself, but I'm going to take that back. As the only thing more uninteresting than Patrick Cantlay is your background, dog.
Oh,
you gotta get a nice sunny Hawaii scene or something up there at least for the guys.
Once you get the sponsor money rolling in, we'll move past loose leaf and empty backgrounds.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so on to Harbor Town, RBC Heritage. So my first pick for this tournament is going to be Colin Morikawa. So this course it's a tight course, tight tree line fairways. Really got to, plan out your approach shots because the greens are really tiny as well. So it doesn't favor, big bombers. Probably why Bryson decided that this wasn't the time. So he pulled out, but not that Morikawa can't hit the ball far. He surely can, but he hits the fairway off the tee just over 70% of the time. I think driving accuracy is going to be huge. And you need to, like I said, you got to position yourself for these approach shots. So I think the other metric that stands out is going to be strokes gained approach. So According to the PGA Tour, he's #1 in that stat. So you're telling me I can get the 4th ranked player in the world at 20-1 behind DJ, who, let's be serious, wants nothing to do with playing this tournament. He's here because he's an RBC sponsor obligation, and I wouldn't be surprised if he mails it in so he can miss the cut and go take off. And then you got Webb and Cantlay both in front of him. I mean, Morikawa has been criminally overlooked. Every week it's like that. And to be honest, I think he should be the favorite here. So he's my first play.
Well, buyer beware. I saw some social media of Colin Morikawa playing up the road at Kiawai Resort. Maybe scouting out a little early for the PGA defense. So be warned, maybe his head isn't completely in this tournament. He's thinking a little ahead to the PGA. But
Fair point.
Hey, I'm not picking him, so I got to find something. But I am picking, with my second pick, Daniel Berger at 21-1. I like playing Berger. He did come here 3rd last year, so obviously he's got course familiarity. The other thing I like about Berger is that he won for me already this year, so we got that going. And in his win last year, there's something similar to what we're dealing with this week, where Berger missed the cut on the number in the Masters last week. The week before his win earlier this week, he missed the cut on the number at Waste Management in Phoenix. So he won the week after being close. I'm kind of riding that same sort of logic. He won for me before. I like his game. He does win. Won last year, won already this year. So I feel like he can close. He was top 10 at the Players recently, so I'm not too worried about the Masters. He was right there. It's a different course. So that all being said, my second pick is Daniel Berger, 21-1.
All right. I can't say much about that pick. I do like Berger this week as well. I think he's got a strong chance for sure. Pick #2 for me is going to be Matthew Fitzpatrick. So Webb Simpson won this last year. I believe there's a strong correlation between Webb Simpson's game and Matthew Fitzpatrick's game. So I see Webb some places he's even the betting favorite. Like you said, you can't. I'm not playing Webb Simpson at 12-1 or 13-1. And as a rule, really, I don't like to play the guy to win the same tournament 2 years in a row. Although that might get tested in a couple of weeks at Valspar. But I am ruling out Webb. Why not take his son, Matthew Fitzpatrick? So Fitz has come out hot and said he's been saying this for years. This is his favorite course on tour. It hasn't really led to any good performances here yet, but it's nice that he's in that headspace. He's going to be into it. He's going to enjoy being there. So he didn't really have his best stuff last week in Augusta, but he's been knocking off top 10 steady all year long. And he fits both the metrics I talked about with Morikawa as well. So that's kind of like what I'm basing most of my picks on here at Harbour Town. So I think Matthew Fitzpatrick is going to be my second pick.
Okay. I honestly have nothing bad to say about him. I may or may not also have a little wager on Fitzpatrick on the side. So good pick there. With my third pick, I'm going to go a little bit more on the longer odds. I'm taking a true long shot. I'm going to take JT Poston. I'm getting him at 81-1, but I've seen other sites where he's up at 100-1. So you can definitely get him for even better value than I'm getting him at 81-1. I don't know. I kind of like this guy. I used course history a bit when picking him. He's played here twice. He's been 6th place and 8th place. The field last year when he came 8th was the second tournament after the COVID restart. So it was like a major level field. So there was all the big guns were there playing there. He grew up near Charlotte, 3 hours away. He lives in Sea Island, 2 hours south. So this guy, it's kind of like a home course. He's very familiar. It is a long shot, but I don't know. I like what I saw when I looked him up. I like the back-to-back top 10s. I throw the each way on this bet. So an each way bet pays off pretty well when you're looking at 81 to 1. Even if he doesn't win and comes top 7. Nothing too exciting with this pick. Taking the flyer, but I'm going to go with JT Poston, 81 to 1 as a long shot for me.
That is a long shot. My third pick, I am going a long shot. I'm not going as deep as you did, but I'm going with Russell Henley. I got him at 60 to 1. So I told you last week about my love for Xander, Brooks, and Wolf. This guy falls into the my guy section as well. I love Russell Henley. He didn't qualify for the Masters, so he was just kind of chomping at the bit, watching at home, and eager to get out and play. He actually lives right down the road. He lives in Kiawah Island. So spoiler alert, I'll be on him again at the PGA Championship. And it's also his birthday today. So birthday week win coming up for Russell Henley. He's 6th in strokes gained approach this season. Very steady off the tee. Even at this number, 61, he's under strong consideration for me for my one and done pick. I think he's got a real shot to win this tournament.
Okay. All right, let's go. I'm going to give some quick picks now. This week with mine, I've decided to hit the top 20 board up. I went and looked at some past performance here and try to get some value. So I'm going to ring off 5 names that I'm going to play individually for top 20s. We have Harris English, 3.25 to 1. Ian Poulter, 3.75 to 1. Kevin Streelman, 4 to 1. Michael Thompson, 5 to 1. And Alex Noren at 6 to 1. In the last 3 years, each of these guys have at least 2 top 20s, with the exception of Noren, who is the long odds 6-1, was 21st and 28th. So my philosophy here is if I hit 2 of these guys, I'm making good profit on these top 20 bets. So it's happened in the past recently, hoping for it to happen again. I'm testing the strategy out, just going with 5 medium type odds top 20s, not the favorites, not the guys at the end of the card, kind of the guys in the middle of the pack. See if I can't hit a few of them, hit 3 or 4. I'm laughing, hit 2, have a profit. But that's my strategy for my other picks, is to take these 5 guys for top 20. And quickly, the graphic department is going to come up here and put the wrong sheet up for a second. And here's a quick summary of my picks. And that is what my betting sheet looks like this week for the RBC Heritage.
Wow.
Ryan, what do you got for us?
The viewers won't be surprised to know that you have a Calgary Flames Velcro wallet still, after seeing how you write down your picks there, but.
Well, you're lucky you didn't see my handwriting. Then it would be way worse.
So I did something similar. I'm taking someone from, I'm going to do a top 5, a top 10, and top 20. So my top 5 is going to be Brian Harman, pace 750. So Birdie Brian is slowly trying to eke into one of my my guys here. And I mean, if I'm going to play him at Augusta, I got to play him on a course that is tailored for his game. I mean, he's at a real disadvantage at some of these longer courses, but he's not going to have a problem here. He's in great form. He's just been chilling on the top of leaderboards here, and he plays well on Pete Dye design courses. The last 2 winners on tour, saw this, I think PGA Tour on their Instagram posted this. So the last 2 winners on tour were Spieth, who hadn't won since 2017. It's like 1,350 days or something between wins, and Hideki, who hadn't won since 2017. So that's another 1,350 odd days. So my guys, Henley and Harman, that I just mentioned, neither of them won since 2017. So looking to keep that trend going. My top 10 pick is going to be Tommy Fleetwood. That pays 550. I've always been a big Tommy fan, but he's kind of lost his way last year or so. But I think he's really hitting stride here. When he came back across the pond for the Florida trip, and He's been gaining strokes on approach in his last 6 tournaments. His irons are firing right now. He's got a hole in one in each of his last 2 tournaments. So if you want to get silly and not bet the top 10 on Fleetwood that I'm betting, there's you can go find Tommy Fleetwood hole in one that's paying 100 to 1. So I don't think that's silly. But and to finish it off, I have 2 top 20 plays myself. So I got Sebastian Munoz, he's paying 350, and Sam Burns is paying 450, both the top 20. Both these guys love putting on the Bermuda greens. So that's kind of like my play here on these guys. I almost got off this when I saw Munoz's his shirt sponsor last week. I don't know if you saw that, but it's Flex Seal. And it's just plastered right on the front of his chest. Anyway, maybe move that to the arm or something, that logo. And then Bermuda Burns. I don't know. He had his hot run at the start of the year here. I don't know. Might have missed out his hot streak and his chance to win this year, but he's really cooled off. He did finish 9th here 2 years ago, so maybe this is the course that gets him going again. Those are my 3 quick picks.
All right. So we're gonna finish off our picks with our weekly one and done pick. I want to briefly go over that again. As the one and done, we entered a major season one that started at the Masters that will end at the Open. So coincidentally, we started this last week, so we are starting the one and done on that time frame. So we're only into our 2nd week, where I know a lot of people have started their one and done at the start of the season, so they're deep into the pool of players. But there being only 17 tournaments in the one and done we'll talk about, we're not going to have to go too deep into the ranks, knowing we only have 17 guys to play. But I recommend for anyone that likes golf, next year get into one of these. It's kind of like a survivor pick for football. It's fun, it's easy. You just got to pick one guy a week. A little bit of strategy to it. But yeah, that being said, last week I blew mine with Rory. I think I get $10,000 at the Masters. You get money for showing up, so I didn't get 0. But this week, I mean, you got to go with your guys. I'm still contemplating between Cantley and Berger. I mean, I'm going to throw it to you, Ryan. Your thought process as far as your one and done? Are you thinking between Morikawa and Fitzy? What are you thinking?
Yeah. I mean, I struggle with this as well. I mean, last week I wasn't convinced that Spieth was going to win the tournament, but I knew he's going to be on the leaderboard come Sunday, so I figured it was guaranteed money there with him. This week, I really think all my guys have a shot. I wanted to go deep and take Henley, and then I went back and forth on the other 2. At the end of the day, push came to shove. I went with Matthew Fitzpatrick. So I'm hoping his game really fits well here. I think, like I said, I think him and Webb play a lot of the same kind of shots. They're a really similar player. And hey, I did well last week with Jordan, the toddler dressed in Under Armour. Let's see if I can get a win from the other one.
Nice. To be fair, I think Webb Simpson did come into my thinking here, where the odds don't matter. He seems like a lock to be in the top 10, but I still like Cantley and Berger more than Webb. I just can't see Cantley disappointing me again, and if he does, I can promise you he will not be on my card the rest of the year. So go big or go home. I think I'm going to take Cantley this week, 2 weeks in a row, putting a lot into him. Hope he pays off, but yeah, he's my number 1 pick, one and done. I only have 15 more weeks after this. I can't see where I'd play Cantley again after this, so I think I'll stick with Patrick Cantley. Any last thoughts before we head into the RBC Heritage?
This is it, man. I'm excited for this tournament. It's everyone that plays here says they look forward to it. It's kind of like a way to gear down after the Masters for the guys that come. So it's going to be a challenge for them, and I'm looking forward to watch. Yeah,
me too. All right, well, that's our picks here on Hittin Buckets. Until next time, talk to you guys later.